and we just move on and we don't apologize. They become a stain. The entire generation here, so that your kids don't make the same mistakes, because it is very possible. I have seen it with the friends of my father that you walked with. Should I call them friends or acquaintances? Because your friend, when you're sick, they visit you, they take care of you. The class of friends will come. I found out they're not his friends. I know. They are just baweereza banne, but they're not friends. Someone who is your friend comes to see you. Whether you're sick or not, that is the friend I know. The mistakes their parents did, their kids did, as like repetition of the mistake. Oh. And the Lord told me to help you guys. Because God saw my heart and saw that I pay attention to nitty-gritties that you neglect, and the devil sits in details. Pastors, be careful the things you do while you're serving the Lord. Your kids are going to do them. Tata teyesembereza abantu enamba eri private tagigaba ne mutabani we takikola. Era bawulira nga boogera nti yalina bataano be. Unfortunately, bataano bo tebalina kye baleeta. Then you call yourself a servant of the Most High God. You. Did you come to serve your friends or God's people? You don't know. Tata oya tali ku social media, nawe toli ku social media. Naye ate oyagala tukozese platforms zaffe. Kubanga mwe banene. Nakugamba, when you come here and you feel offended, mukano wenenye, a season imbi. Nze sirina gwe mpisa mu maaso. Naye ekibi kyo kikuyisizaamu amaaso. Ekibi kyange kyampisaamu amaaso. Nze gwolaba akatiibwa konna sikyalina. Mwampisaamu eggaali gguju ne mumpunzika bwe muti. And someone got a dream. When my hobbies and orgies in 2020, my skirt had holes. Instead of telling me or covering me up, they were laughing at me. Trust me, they've done it for 3 good years now. The dream came to Ovanga Kubalos. The dream came to Nengamba what? The dream came to Banzirako eyo ne bammanyira ne bampisaamu eggaali nga bwe baagala tebiriiyo. Nze si oli omuwala gwe mwasoma naye, nze buli lwondaba wano. I am not that girl you studied with. Yeah. Sorry for not telling you the truth, but it was not your place to know for such a time as this. Omulimu gwa Mukama gwali gugenda kwonooneka. That's why the identity stayed secret. But still, era identity togimanyi. Era tetujja gikugamba kubanga gwe omulimu gwo kwonoona bintu bya Mukama. Munnammwe ne mumanya mulwadde mu ttiimu ne musirika. Munansonyiwa. It is experience. Those are things we've done that are so bad in the eyes of God. Katonda akoyo okufiirwa abasajja be n'abakazi be ne bafa nga bayomba. The late Paul Kukiriza, I had a lot of time. It is not having a lot of time, it is ministry in my life. I used to visit him after class, while others are going for lunch, dinner and all that. And Paul had a habit. There are certain things he never told his friends. By the time Paul opens up, he trusts you and you're called a friend. Paul would cry and tell me, Esther, I don't have friends. Namugamba, no, Paul, you have friends. Nangamba, no one comes to see me. Namugamba, nentandika owolereza bakwano bange. I understood Paul's situation because I've gone through it my whole life. I know what it means to be sick and you stay in bed. One time I got an allergy in my first year, and it took me to the extremes. I remember my whole face. I went to bed early. I didn't go for supper, I think. I entered bed, I wasn't feeling well. I slept on top of my bed. When my roommates came back, they entered bed and slept. Because we used to go to different rooms of our friends and we sit there, hang out, watch TV for those who have TV. Me, I have a habit. The only place I would go and hang a lot and watch TV was in my family member's room. The other rooms I would go if we have sale there. If I have something I'm doing with you. But hanging for a long time, it was mainly my family member whom we shared a hall of residence. She calls me Jaja. That's where I would sit and sometimes spend a night when I want space away from my own room. Because my room was like a common room. It was like it collected all of us. And my friends did not understand me because many times I would be silent. Because when I don't like things you're doing or talking about, I will be silent. Those silent moments would come and attack. But it wasn't me, it was the other people that I carried around. It's very few people who notice that. So I would get those moments when I just want to be alone. Now, if you don't understand me, I don't stay in your space. I would go silent out of the blue. It happened several times and it became a problem to me. Because I used to hear people's comments and they were not nice. I remember one time I told people, please, when you sit on my bed, don't put a cup on my bed. It was a Sunday. I went home and came back and my duvet was off. It was checked in color and green. It had green patterns. I did not find it on my bed. Now the white one that was on my bed was the one left. Because I feel cold very easily, so I carried those things to school because I have issues. But I never told people about what was going on in my life. I just kept quiet. The time I got that part of the duvet, now someone sits on my bed and they were drinking milk tea and it poured. The person removed my thing, put it in a basin and soaked it and left it there. Instead of washing it, they soaked it and left it there. When I came back, I didn't see it. I wondered. Then I saw a basin. I just kept quiet. I carried my basin and went outside and washed my duvet. Then later, the person is like, oh, I'm sorry, I poured tea on your bed. But they knew, because I kept telling them, please, when you sit on the bed, don't sit with water on my bed. You want to eat, sit down. Don't sit on the bed because anything can happen. Those are my things. That is why people found me difficult. Now let me come clean so that you know. Tata taught us certain things. One time my Paco got spoiled. And I went back home after the semester and I gave it to Tata. Tata looked at me and said, next semester, if your friends, because someone boiled water, the Paco was empty. And it got spoiled. And they did not say. I come back, my Paco is spoiled. Because when someone, you have to be careful, it's all I'm talking about. I kept quiet. I could not point out to anyone. Because my room used to have, but I got to know who did it. And I just kept quiet. Tata said, next semester, you put your things in the suitcase, lock it. Everything, put everything in there. Then Mama said, no, don't teach the girl bad manners. Tata said, those are not bad manners. I don't have money to buy things every semester. Tata wasn't working at that time. Mama was not working. I had to depend on university money. The biggest thing Mama would bring are avocados. But you could not know, because I'm a girl who carries myself with dignity. I carry myself with respect. I had few clothes, and I don't just wear things. I carry my class. With the little we had, we have class. There are things about me and my dad you don't separate. I don't like sharing clothes. My siblings know that. If they want to take anything of mine, let me find you wearing it. Why? It's because of the skin and the odor. When you give me clothes, I don't give them back. I don't like uniform. I only want uniform when it is uniform for work or school. When it comes to dress code, I don't want. That is me. That is why you don't see me wearing things others wear. I don't like uniformity. We'll bring that back in the class of the garment, or the body, the temple, yes. The best Mama would bring her avocados. But things to do with money, it was university, allowance. Then when one of Daddy's sisters started to give me money, beginning of the semester, because I was on government. And she did that in my first year. And when I went into my second year, she did it for a full year. So she did it for 1 year. And I'm a type, when I go shopping, I make sure what I go with takes me for the 4 months at school. Because sagala kusabiriza. That is me. Tata raised us and said kusabiriza is bad. The first time Tata oyasaba sente, nayisibwa bubi nnyo, yagamba nti muweyo, yatuwerekera ogenda ku ssomero. I was in A level. Tata stopped working. By the time I was in senior 3, Tata's life started to deteriorate. By the time I was in A level, Tata wasn't working that much. He would go, but his health was starting to become something else. By 2004, he was out at 48. 48, he made it in September. I joined the university in August. So Tata said to Saviriza, if you don't have something, stay in the house. On Sunday, he said, if you don't have what to wear, don't go out, stay in the house. He does not want to find you bare-chested. You don't move out, girls, when you don't have a panty. At night, you wear PJs. You don't wear slippers. Those are things he grew up doing, so we have to follow suit. So when I would shop, it had to take me for 4 months. I had 2 pots, one for drinking water, fridge. That was my fridge. The other fridge was for eggs. One time I forgot and I put the fridge next to the wall where the sun rays hit the wall and my eggs rot. So I learned that, and I get the pot, put it on the other side. When you're going to work with me, I have to tell you certain things about me so that you don't have problems with me. Those are things my friends did not know about me, and they never bothered to learn. They never paid attention. One time, so when I fell sick back to first year, I fell sick. I got an allergy. My roommates came back and they entered bed. They did not touch me. First we were 3 with a lady called Eva. Eva loved hearing me talk. She said she loved the way I used Luganda proverbs. She left in first year. It did not end for her and she left. She's now in the US. One time I sent her a message in her DM. She never replied, and I'm like, it's okay. I love my old friends. That is me. So when she left, we got a new roommate. So when she left, I went and slept on Eva's bed. So now the new person in the room, you have to sleep on the deck. That is how life is. I remember when I was sleeping on a deck, my roommate would say, the one who was sleeping down would say, don't shake the bed. Now me, I was never in a boarding section. The decker we had home wasn't shaky. Tata buys strong things. Now this one at the university is shaky. Now the roommate says, don't shake the bed. I'm like, how do I climb? Choka first year was amazing. Then I tell them, when someone knocks the door, they don't get up to open the door. Now the one they told don't shake the bed, I have to go and open the door. I was like, will I handle this room? The day I got a backfire of the allergy. I woke up at 3 a.m. and opened my eyes. I could not see. Then I went to the mirror and did like this. Then I saw my face. I burst out and cried, and that woke my roommates up, because that day they didn't turn off the light. Then they woke up, and one of them came. They both got out of the bed. The other one looked at me. Then the other one came close. Then they both came close. Then they saw my face and I was crying. Then they started to sing for me the song, I just can't give up now, come too far from where I started from. And they made me love that song. It's Vicky that started it, and I love that song. They sang the song, prayed for me. Then I stopped crying. They went back to bed. Now, after crying, my friend, he died. Kayanja Robert died. And he used to go to Miracle Center. Then he came to Calvary Redeemed. Out of the blue at 3 a.m., Kayanja calls. And I'm like, it's late and you're sleeping. He's like, the Lord has told me to call you. I got out of the room and I started to cry, and Robert prayed for me. Robert had gifts. He told me, the Lord told me to call you and pray for you at 3 a.m. Robert was my brother, and that is something some people in church did not understand. I remember they told him he disappointed me when he married another girl. I was like, when I take you to my father's house, I did not say I'm taking a husband home. Me, when I was in church in Cabo, I did not see any man worthy to marry me. Don't get offended. I was around the youth, but I didn't like the things they did. Old or young, I did not. One time I walked with them and they said, "On from Radinangamba." What do you mean, Charlie Muto? I was at the university at the time. They said, "Shia, ngamwara wa msumba ya fombito." I was like, don't compare me. And me, I knew what was going on inside the other side. I just looked at them. And I'm like, let's even change that topic. They're like, all the time you girls say you're young. And my mother had told the boy he's in church, when you come to my house to pick a girl, my daughters work. That business of your boys saying that the girls don't work. When you come in my house, my daughters have to work. My mom was a ganyo navant. And certain people did not understand those things, and they took things the wrong way. So when boys would come home, people would be threatened. I remember sometimes one complained and said, "No, Mama wanga tukwanira abavubuka." I looked at this girl. I looked at the young man they are telling us, this man is younger than I am. I don't do young boys. I looked at him and I'm like, really? I was on baby telling and they are bickering. I was at the university. When I got to church, I kept quiet and looked at this young girl. Nario Kagamba, Abana Babu, Basoma Sumina, I looked at this young girl like this. You come home, make my mother and I'm ready. Abalondera over, Abasimiro Obukopa, Katiguri, Kuli Mchala, Mkade wa Kanisa, or Yingira Wings of Fumbo. N'omunagamba bbaawe oba bayomba bikinalyo kagamba bbaawe nze siri kufulu kusigala waka. I was like, otyo abafumbo ngenda abayamba. Mulimu that scripture that touch not the anointed. Banji bakubiddwa mu kanisa because of us. In family. Now my friends in school ate bo omugo omunene. Nze ngenda kubayamba. I left university nga nzijjudde. Ne ngamba ayogera ngaani. Baba tebalina nkaba natunulya naga. Kano kenonze kano ke kagenda okundetera ebizibu. God dealt with me. And silence would come and I kept quiet. All the times I would go to church, I would just look at them. Nga bwonsanga nseka naawe, ng'ojje waffe nga toliyitaayitibwa. That's why nabiranga n'abalenzi. Naye nga abantu tebakimanyi. I was staying away from women and their mouth. Because they disrespected my mother and my father in church. And in family, I would stay away and keep quiet. No child wants to see their parents disrespected. Even if she's wrong. Genda omutuukirire. Ekikuza mbakazi abalala otufuula emboozi kyekyaky nja kubayigiriza. Kati nga muvaayo mweyita abaweereza ba Mukama. Tugenda kubyogerako. Pastor wagamba mbu forgive, forget and move on. Where is it written in the Bible when people are rotting in church? Singa nali saalokoka. Nze sandidzeemu kubeera mulokole ate nga njagalayo ki. Naye mwana tusaalokoka ku mumwa. N'ebyenda mbibuulira enjiri. Nembigamba tofulumya biogas omubi. Nedda alina okuba nga awunya yaleeta methane. Yakola power. Nze nina kulya bulungi. So that tufuna power. Nze neewulira enjiri. Nendokoka ebituufu. Nengamba bannange, what on earth is this? My roommates prayed and went back to bed. Kayanja prayed for me the late. Nava kusimu nenzirawo nenneebaka. Now I could not go to school. Whenever I was sick, I used not to go for classes. Now I have a friend. I love him so much. Among my friends, he's called Luwemba Musa. Luwemba used to come to my... Baina dine kawempe Muslim. Tuina dina. Munagenda. Zekati nsomera kawempe Muslim. Tobidanga. Luwemba... I used to sit with him when we were studying technical French. In the communication skills. Those two subjects would bring many of us in engineering. The whole faculty of engineering would study together and would sit in Ngatubabanji. So I would Luwemba would get me a place and I would sit. Whenever I would sick, Luwemba would come to my room to see me. He's one guy and Paul. They would come to see me. Others would come to see others, then they find. But when I'm sick, at least those two would come to see me on a daily. So one time he climbed my my bed. I stayed in my room. That time I had issues with my blood pressure and my heart would go low and breathing became hard. So Luwemba comes to my room and at the time I was sleeping on a deck. And he climbs the deck because he's not that tall. Then my roommates found us. Then he went down. But that day, my sink was full of dirty things. Me, I have a habit after eating, we clean the plates, right? My sink was full of things. I looked at, someone knocked, and I think the door was locked. Now I thought about getting from the deck down, open the door. I looked at the sink. I looked at my sink, it had dirty things. I was sick as I call, Lord have mercy. I opened the door, Luemba enters, then locked, we closed the door, then my roommates found Luemba, then he left. He was shy, he feared people. He left. Then the other time, the day I got an attack of the allergy, that day, at lunchtime, I requested one of my roommates, to get me food. No, I did not request. I thought it was obvious. When they are going, they'll take my container to get me food. No one picked it. I kept quiet and I'm like, wow. Then I remember Levi and Andrew Tugume came to see me. It was a Saturday and we had a seed project. Watoto cells. So they kept on walking around to pick us so that we can go. That day was supposed to clean the dining hall. Sweep, clean, everything. So they come to my room and because I was in their cell. Then they find me. I was sick. Things were bad. I hadn't eaten. Then I told them to get me food. The boys went and got me food. I told them I needed some medication from the clinic, the university clinic. I had to cover myself. They escorted me. Boys are doing for me stuff. Why am I sharing this? When you become friends, your health matters to your friends, right? My life, I care for people so much that I go an extra mile. But when I found out that my friends cannot do that, I had to study them. Then I got to understand everyone's strong point and weakness. But they did not know that I was doing such things. So whenever I needed help and they can't offer it, I never got offended. What I would do, I would go to the room upstairs, to my relative's room, when I'm sick. I stopped staying in my room when I'm sick. So I would go to her room and sleep in her bed. Because I knew she would take care of me, and she always did. Then I would, when she left the university, I would go to her home. Of course, when I go there, Mama, at the time her father was still alive. And he loved it whenever I would come around. So I had to spend most of my time with her. I enjoyed university because of her. Because she understood me. We loved the same things. We were almost the same size. She's one person who shared her clothes with me. And she had class in clothes. She taught me a lot of things. It is only the foot size that was not the same. But with clothes, she's the only one person I wanted to share clothes with at the university. And there is a time I fell sick. I had malaria. And I got Karma Queen from the clinic. I had given myself Chigaji. Then I went to the clinic and they gave me Karma Queen. Is it Karma Queen? Yes, it had Queenini, Karma Queen, one of the two. And I was dehydrated. I started oozing. Things were bad. And my friends would wonder why I don't go back home when I am sick. Those are things I kept to myself. Then I had to call one of my brothers on my mom's side, Engineer Chigonya Collins. He goes to Watoto. And he came, and at that time, he told me, I told you to come home and see me. From the time you stayed with me, you don't want to come back. And he would always joke. He's like, you're those Zens. He loves joking a lot. He's like, you're those Zens eating posho and beans. Come home and eat matoke. One time I cooked food for him. And as I was opening the door, I was carrying the saucepan and at the same time opening the door. Kati nga nfumbye eminwe. Nga ngenda kujinyiga. A saucepan slid and the food poured. Tomugamba. I picked the food. It was in the evening. He used to stay in Bugolobi in the National Housing Houses because he used to work with National Housing. The saucepan slid and fell. It almost fell on my feet. Now imagine matoke. Me, I've survived accidents of being boiled, of boiling water. A judge's place, I was carrying a kettle. I did not notice that it had issues with the handle. And there was a young child seated in the doorway. The kettle broke and I put my thigh. Okta somana to the ones. I have that scar, but it's fed a little bit. The handle broke and I put my thigh. Okta somana wa neighbor yali atudde mu mulyango. I'm very fast. I react very fast. Those things, I carry them. I put my thigh and the water burnt me. And the kid's head was saved. When I'm not understood, I always stay away from people because I don't want to be annoyed. When people don't understand you, they're going to conclude the way they want. So for me to avoid being annoyed with people, staying away from you is very, very healthy for me. That's why I loved being alone all the time. But because I was also carrying my great-grandmother and her daughter, that was the other part. They loved their privacy. Kati nga abantu bagamba omwana akasirikanya, she loves sitting alone. Whenever you do something I don't like, those are things that made me withdraw, and I would always stay alone. Nga abantu bangi, then I stay alone and keep quiet. Those are things you did not understand about me, and you quoted me wrong. But I still love you. I got to know that you did not understand who I am because you don't know how to be friends with people. You're just acquaintances. After using people, you walk away, and that's it for you. In 2018, the Lord started pushing me out when I don't want to come and help His people. That was my purpose of leaving the country. But God was making sure the reason as to why I was created was being birthed. But I've been going through training. My training is rigorous. I used to do things ebinyigiriza happiness yange. Sagala kulaba bantu nga bali bubi. When I did that, when I'm away from home, 2017, in November, I had never lost anyone away from home. I started a life of attending weddings on phone. Barring people on phone, it started 2017. And the experience is nasty. I would be on phone from the time I was told the person died. I started calling. Now, because I was carrying these old women, they had not officially left. I would call, Kati muli kuki? Kati tuguleyo ki? Mwetaaga amata? Kati munanywa ki? Tuguleyo omugaati? Those are things up to today, by the way. Toina na wobija. Kati abana tubatwale ki? Kati banange. While others are minding their own business, Esther is busy asking people, Kati mwalide? Kati munange? Kati tugula amata? Mama, the results of that thing did not come good. People complained about me. When they went for burial, people said they would complain to my small nuclear. My small nuclear said, we have a meeting. Hey, nyabulu. There are people I did not expect to complain about my calls. I was hurt and I went mute. They made a meeting. My brother is like, you cannot do a meeting about, hey, she's family, call her. My brother hates people who badmouth people, who backbite people. When you start, he walks away. That's my brother. He said, call her. Now they made a mistake of using a last born. The class of a first and last born is coming. Hey, my sister gets the phone. We are outspoken, by the way. Esther, you're good. Esther, catch jam. I was like, what do you mean? 1, 2, 3 people cannot complain about you. Oh, you're getting your catch jam. Now, that talking was not me. That was deliverance. You guys did not understand. When the Mzungu prayed for me on 8th of July. Ha! Yeah. The next day on the 9th, I talked like there is no tomorrow. I talked and got tired. Everyone looked at me. I landed on messages, people sending messages to Kampala. Gamkono goma yongera nnyo mama nze omutima gwange ne gufunda kyokka be bantutteyo. And the Mzungu said, don't touch her, don't sleep on her bed, let her sleep alone. We were in Baltimore when Jeb Bartlett prayed for me, when she threw out my great grandmother on a big scale. Emzimu jankuba nze wenzijukira olwo olunaku sagala nakulimba mwanatu. Tolaba nti gwe bakusabira emizimu negikuba noba nga tolina kyojjukira bakunyumiza mukwano. Nze conscience yange yasigalako. Omusajja nampa abasajja ne bankwata nga bansobola. Jesus of Nazareth. Emizimu gyakuba. Emizimu gy'abakabaka gyafubutuka. Negigamba tetufuluma. She's ours. Nengamba yahe. Nenswala. When namaliranga sina kyensobola nga bankubye omusajja nkuba. My conscience stayed on. Nenja sama. Nempulira nga omumwa ogugenda okuyulika. Nentandika okunyiriza omusaayi. I remember very well. The Lord did not allow my conscience to go off. I remember everything. I read for you the things the Mzungu wrote. You want them again? Ye recto jam chiras. Sparing a moment for others. Ujenkavuduka. Mukama katonda wange obujulizi nga buwanvu nnyo naawe Esther Solome. Tuweko bitono ati tujja mu kirasi buliza nkwegayirira abegayiriza. And I get new people on the block. Muli eyo muyina agazibu gabali bube. Mwana atusikirizeyo bannange emizimu gyankuba. Emizimu gyankuba. Nengamba yahe. Nazizo gwakinze kwetika amanya agatali gange kangume. Era nze gwolaba. Nze okuva emizimu gyagobadde sonsipu zange ntyayo. Nengamba Mukama sooka ontereeza omusajja asange kanteredde. Bino ebintu by'okunswazaswaza sibiriimu maana. Joe Bartlett, come over. I sent you guys an email of that testimony many times ago. Yali mpanvu bulungi. I shared the testimony with the people. Baltimore crowded hall witnessed Jesus conquering millions of violent demons. Nebateka muna ekifaananyi kyange naye ndi mudugavu nnyo toyinza kuntegeera. Coming soon, LA, back to British Columbia in September. Personal ministry hourly sessions available. Click here. YouTube presentation, consider click here. Invest into this Jesus rescue mission today. Bartlett, temugamba nti mugoba emizimu. Bartlett is on. Tekamu mugundi yo. Otekemu Jet Bartlett. Victory reports, click here. Privatejet@gmail.com. That is someone else. They send emails. The emails come from who? Forward Baltimore crowded. Who is the person who sent the email first? I sent it to many people who don't remember that email. He sent it on July 9th, 2016 at 3:38 minutes and 13 seconds a.m. in the morning. This young woman set free by Jesus from millions of violent demons named Lucifer. Jesus is able. Dear friends of Jesus, from South Florida, I traveled onward to Baltimore, Maryland, where I am conducting a series of seminars with Kategoria Yogamba Neswaza Mkwano, Bera Mkatiko, Ejewa Mwetejinnagenda Ebanagikwatako Jajjiwulira. Bible egamba nti baamuwangula, Revelations 12. The devil wants me to keep quiet. That's why I got a facial paralysis the third time. Kati weyongere yeno tojja. From South Maryland, where I'm conducting a series of seminars with the hopes of encouraging the body of Christ to teach the word, to cast out demons, heal the sick, and heal those broken in heart. Interestingly enough, over the years, some of our strongest support comes from this city. We generally have good crowds, great participation, and wonderful ministry here. There is openness here which encourages me and allows for Jesus' miracles to take place. Early tonight, we had another jam-packed hall. Nearly every seat was full. Every seat was taken, and I expect even more people tonight. Individuals and families came in from all over the region to receive deliverance and healing. So many shared testimonies how this Jesus mission has impacted their lives. But they told me to tell anyone when we are going there. I was like, Manange, when did this start? Church, you don't have my medication. How do you stop me from going to another place? Nze siri muto mu Kristo. Saakalaba bannabbi b'obulimba mbamanyi bulungi nnyo bakkanula amaaso buli ssaawa. It is because, church, you've not trained your people right. That is why they are easily taken off. You're not giving them an opportunity to read the word and know the real Jesus. You became Jesus in their lives. You became the bridge. That is why people don't know what to do when they are struggling. Pastors, stop spoon-feeding those people. Kati, you can imagine I'm struggling with the museum and the pastor in the church I'm in says, you don't go here, you don't go here. Me, my whole life we've been moving with my mother. The Lord was sending her to different men that carried the anointing. Do you know what it means to give birth to your child who is very normal and she's taken over by demons? Do you have a clue, you? I'm not prayed by one man or woman. Me, I'm not self-made. That's why I knock out Ugandan pastors like crazy, especially those that started many years ago. That for you don't know. Some are dead, some are still there. There are even those in undercover you don't know. Me, I know them because of my bad health. Toby Duncan, respect people. Abasajja gye bali abasaba botamanyi mu mawulire siba mu mawulire Mukama teyabatumako kubeera ku social media kubeera mu mawulire gwe bamanyi. You think mbwe mukuŋŋaanye y'abantu bangi Yesu ng'atudde ani yabikugamba. Bali tebanoonya maanyi bategeere yabayita. You cannot even pollute them. Naye tebafiibiddwako. Omusajja n'aweereza Mukama eri omusajja bamuyita Gaadi. Omusajja yasooka omukubansabira ng'emizimu ginti bubi ng'eddogo liddi bubi ng'azimba okuzimba that allergy yali ddogo nga bagamba maama wange adde yasaamire ng'ate maama agamba nti no ye teyalabako okusaamira ng'akula naye yo mu famire y'engeri abasaamira eyo baatamanyi naawe mu famire yo yina abasaamira mwegaana nakugamba weegaana empola nja kusindika omuliro gukwokya okiraba tobiddangamu. Njakusindika omuliro ate we guba gukwokya gwe high priest gujja kukwokya tata gukye mama gukye n'abaana kubanga tata wafa atulekera obwana nga nabwo busaamize. mujja kukiwulira temubidanga mwe temumanyize ddogo we linkozi tobinyumiza ebyo mbuno mwegaanagaana mmwe muli eyo muyinaayina mwe mugenda amaaso ngaafe tukina kye tulaga siya kotini obidanga. As I was leading everyone in prayer, some prayers to break generational curses, numerous demons were surfacing. One such individual was this young lady, pictured with me above, who had arrived into this country a few weeks ago. I arrived on the 19th, and I spent 1 weekend, 3 days, and they told me to leave. The Lord wanted me so that I can meet J. Bartlett. If I stayed in Lawrenceville, how would I have met J. Bartlett? Who knows him there? The people I was staying with were not saved. They were just Protestants. Because I asked the Lord, where do I go? He said, go to Virginia. The Lord gave me the name. And he gave me the nickname. You can imagine. That is why I called them. And their family members did not get that point. For them, they just got annoyed. They did not know God was sending a power. Because they were also having their issues, which the Lord sorted simply because they opened the door willingly and very happy. Of course, they needed to tell their family members about me, because you cannot house someone you don't know. That is all. It was something very simple that was taken out of context. Mujja kuba bulungi mwenna mukama abaleetera obyambi obeereyo ng'osaba mukama nina obulwadde bunnuma mukama agenda kuweereza omuntu nga naye they have the same issue, and the Lord wants you to help that person so that he can take away your own problem. These people did not understand that part. Ugandans, you're going to change. Other countries will learn from us. When you house someone, read some scriptures like that among your visitors, the angels walk. That class, I'll bring it back. This business of saying you are helping people, which one is that one? Who grew you? We've done such things my whole life. My great-grandparents did those things of housing people they don't know, raising people who became family and even took over our things. But we've never gone there to claim them. My dad has no such time. My dad is making sure that we go to heaven. People have enjoyed what we should have enjoyed. My friend, don't joke around. Someone put someone in a place when they were young. That person was put there to take care of my grandfather's children. They took over. Then later I wake up and they give me a land title of 30 acres. Katugenda kusanga nga abantu bakyezibika. Neze nakugamba, you can be the landlord. I have the God of the land. That one we shall not touch about it. Gwe mugende mu court, nze nagenze mu yeggulu gye ngenda kubaloopa. Kitu kitono nnyo. Bwe mulaba zizinga temubuuza bingi. Nze ndi mu kooti yeggulu. Nze obwo bukooti bwammwe obwo bw'abayaayo abalooya bammwe abayaayo sibusobola. Looya n'awolereza ebintu eby'ekisiru. N'ogamba bannange kiki kye tuliko. Nina original land title. Mbwa emyaka gye babaddewo tuba compensating how? Is the land yours? Obiddangamu. Kati nabagamba mukano gyange abayisayisaamu abantu amaaso mwegendereze nga mugula ettaka. Continue. In the season ettaka lifuuse ettaka. Obiddangamu. Iye nnyumira nnyo okuseka. Nina okubasomesa lwiruddiiru. Nze weŋŋaana nga akubamu nze nedda nkaana. Kooyo ekiboko nange. Abalala mujja kutuyigirako n'empisa zaffe. The Lord wanted them to take me to meet this man, so that because he had the power. Emizimu gy'abakabaga ginyooma Abaganda. I'm sorry. I love making fun. tetukayana. Sit, you know we respect the kings, right? And some people say birungi munange tetubigoba byakoze biti ani akugambye wali obalabyeko nga bangulira emmere wali obalabyeko school fees omanjezaba culture simulaba nga koka tata we yalokoka ne batugamba tefa you are on your own nekitulya netugenda nakyo era mu family nga teri asobola tukwatako abatubuli atulengera bwati alaba asabiriza ekyo kintu kiva kwani ku mukyala Lubwama kukigamba tino tefa you on your own nga Father Grimes amaze okuba kitanga oluyi omuzungu yakuba tata wange katuna nagamba omuzungu agobye musomera temu katuliki katunange ngenda kunoonya omuzungu yagenda sorting ensonga after how many years. Welcome to Esther Solome. Yali tasobola kukozesa muddugavu muwaawo ekitiibwa abakabaka bwe kirina okuba kati bwe mubawo ekitiibwa n'ebibakwatako ebibali emabega temubisigukulula Katonda amwetaaga abawa amaanyi musigukulula ebiri emabega wa kabaka kyekyo lwaki babeereyo ne batusekerera ne bagamba ne we munasaba omusajja oli alina engeri gyatusekereramu namugambye namuguddeko olutalo kubanga tannalabayo bakabaka balokose biriyo kyekyo lwaki aŋŋoola abeereyo kati mwabalokole nga muwoza ebyo tebitukwatako ffe twalokoka kyaggwa kuki nga Uganda comes from Buganda. You joking now. Bwe muba mwagala obamalamu etumba mugenda kusiiba bino bye mugenda okukola wamanka prison tubadde mu prison nabalekere kitwana eno tuveeyo testimony ejja kuggwa olulala tugive nako temwambala uniform eri twambala uniform z'amagye ba high priest she I tell you twambala uniform z'amagye nga gojozunga ng'otambula n'abakabaka obwedde mukwano obiraba bulabi tuddeyo eno nabalekera message y'amagye ng'okaayanakaayaneeyo emessage y'amagye message y'amagye nembagambe kigendo tujja mukomera kikino mubiŋoola buŋoozi otunula eri emizimu gijja kukuba ate mweno season emizimu gyefubutuse gy'abakabaka negitumanyira negidda mu kasitika waggulu giri eyo omusaayi gukaaba amaziga kubanga baafa nga tebayagala nabagamba kitalya Uganda prison Paul and Cyrus Act 16:16 tujabisoma twambala yero lwaki batuwa yellow uniform ku mulembe gwa 7 uniform 18 years to 100 7 to 17 years juvenile obwana bukabire eyo mu juvenile kyokka river nile is the source kwegamba gwe tobikulirwanga kampiringisa oye bakutwala oli mutono oli okofutukanga oli musajja mukulu noyambala busiripo bwo bayambala busiripo bwa green no sort wa yero no bupali army Oven bracket army air force kukwata aba national guard coast guard marine navy seals bakukwata ne bakukuba jeke okakana ngoli ruzira oba wabikoze wate because tebitukwata ko bakwatide musango wabadde otambula n'abakozi b'emisango bajja kusiba ono nyakuwolereza nga tomulaba ennaku zino batate bawaayiriza owedde gomaloka be Museveni yatosibye Museveni yakutidde kukuba nga mutuleekaanira. Which country have you seen when they riot and the army doesn't come out? Go jangu wano wa America leto riot ngo yo wechisiru. Obuzabuza abantu. Which country riots amajene gasigalayo? Tobidanga bajja kubasiba nnyo. Temugendera mateeka. Mbu mugende ku streets mulekana o president. Mukwane ebifuga Syria tebifuga Uganda. Don't forget that part. Uganda, God has you in hands. Newe munalekana. Opposition niwe navayo ne kubawala alentebe tebajja gifuna. Watch and see. Obidankam. The army. Amajage gamkama mukolachi. 5 followed the ministries, visions, the bishop, special force, first and second. Mukama yagala kozesa amagye tulieno tulimu yave. First and second Timothy. Gifts. 7 major gifts from God. 9 spiritual gifts. 12 gifts of Holy Spirit and talents. Mercy. Fruits of the Holy Ghost. tetwabisomye yeggulu Galatians then ne James jebiri we need help as soon as yesterday pastors ne kabawaawo mwanatu gwali mu mwezi gw'okuna n'abaweereza message nga mulowooza tino zanyaza kati olaba kitukubye kitumazemu kubanga tutagala abantu nkitaddeyo nkisisaayo message yankama. It is very sad and you appear ng'omuntu afiiriddwa olwo muvaayo mumuwoza mbu muli ba mikwano. Excuse us. Buli ssaawa tubagamba bannammwe baafunye ebizibu muba mwetuddeko. Toyina goofaako ate amazima temugaagala. Nabagamba sizoni mbi. Anytime anything is going to happen. Omulimu gwe kutuleete mugendaya. And you want to be a leader, you. Watch and see. Nze byenkola saakabitandika. Gwe wakabitandika ng'oli mu mawulire. Kati olaba kyakabi. Oh my goodness. This is trouble. Wafuuse bufuusi simanya mukulu wa biki. Kati oli eyo wenna oli ku bunkenke. Ate president teyakurecognizinze. Ffe tetubeera recognized by man. What we do is recognized by God. Our account in heaven is full. If we had not did what we have done, if we had not done what we did, I would be dead by now. You wouldn't have met me, by the way. Testimony jangu mukirasi testimony jakiwulira. Ne tutula ku group nembagamba mu contributing add value ku side yo osobola okusindika monopoly abalokole ne bava ku groups nentunula bwenti nengamba teri kintu kiruma mulokole kuleekaana about the gospel ekyo ekintu kyampangula ng'oli mulokole mbalabe y'omutimbatimba bi scriptures nga one blocking olw'enjiri gwe. Tukyali bubi nnyo Uganda. We want change, but if we don't change, God is going to force us change, whether we like it or not. Nabagambye. Sigenda kirumamu. You can call me prophet of doom. Ati bwompita prophet of doom kitegeeza oli kiyenje. Ekiyenje kye kyetaaga doom. Ate nze lwaki mbeera doom. Kati njagala onyiige ng'obuyinza bwe bulagira. Ffenno tugenda mu maaso. Abantu tebakyalina budde bunyiiga. We are just taking of each other, loving each other, believing in the Lord, and continue. Abasumba abanyiize nga bali eyo banyiize mbu nno mbayisaamu amaaso kajjambo. Kajjambo eyakuyita yeyampita naye teyakukubira ssimu. Teyakukubira telefoni onotusonyiwa. Yalaba nga wannakukubira telefoni ogenda kwonoona omulimu gwa Mukama guli mu bulamu bwange. Mwezira kulaba baana balina birabo ngoga oyo abeere ku ttiimu yange. Sibeera ku ttiimu ya muntu. Mbeera ku ya Mukama gy'aŋŋamba gye ŋŋenda. Period. Nze sibeera ku ttiimu yo. Nga Katonda taŋŋambye gibeerako. Buli lwondaba nga ndi mu bintu byo. I am serving God. Olina ekirabo abantu kye beetaaga. Olina eddagala. Navaayo nga njija nsooba ne mundaga nti ndi musiru. Mwali mukiraga Mukama temwali temukiraga nze. It is because we don't respect humanity where God sits. Nobeera muvunuzi wa pastor nawo blocking abantu gwe. Nobeera simanya gospel artist ate mwe mukyali bubi. Mwe nabagamba muli bakozi ba ssente. Temuli ba worshippers. Mbu worshippers o blocking abantu gwe. Ng'ogenda tugamba tugule music wo. Gwe wakopi obukopi. Ekanisa ekyabonaabona nnyo. Tugende maaso eno bagiyise 38 in November 2020. Continue. Leero ayiseewo nnyo olw'okuba nkubye awaluma. Kale tofaayo tujja kuba bulungi ffenna. Continue. Show interest in the welfare of your employer. fellow workers and colleagues. These things are supposed to be taught to us in church. But even the church is just destroying us. Pastors don't care. Show interest in the welfare of your employer, fellow workers and colleagues. Naye gwe oyagala tukuyambe buyambi, ebisigadde tebikwatako, bwe nvaayo bagambako nga muyomba. Amazima gali nti temunjagala, okiteeka ku mumwa. Omuntu anjagala amanyi taata wange gy'abeera. Bwe mba ntambudde naawe years ng'onfunyeemu, the only way you can pay back, trust me, is just saying hello to my father. I don't want you to come with anything. Mbamanyi wammwe muli bakodo. Ate kati mukwano, nakimanya nti muli bakodo n'okukyala temukyala. So don't do it mbonsanyusa. Nedda mukwano, kikole ng'okiwulira. You're doing it for your children. Taata wange, yagenda dda myaka 10 emabega Mukama bwe yatugamba. Nga 31 December 2021. Taata wange yagenda dda okubeera ne Mukama. Ali ku listi y'abasajja be yatwala. Yagamba yamutwala 10 years back. Mu 2020 ayina gwe yatuma n'angamba yambaza taatawo. N'amala n'agamba he's gonna roar one more time. Nali mpostinze ekifaananyi kya Lion King ne Simba ng'ali ne taatawe. Ono omuntu tatera kukebera statuses yakisanga. Mukama n'amugamba oyo muŋŋambire, her father is going to roar one more time. The king is going to roar inside. The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Because the kingship was suppressed when Tata gave his life to Christ. You don't know my father. You just walked with him. And why he'd never told you about stuff about himself, the Lord never told him to do so. Because he was not chosen for such a time as this. The Lord chose him to be my father, to be a custodian of God's work. A firstborn is God's work, and a lastborn, the middle children are yours. So careful with your number one and the one who closes the door. Those don't belong to you. You missed the class of the first and lastborn. It's coming back. Don't worry. Be happy. Stay alive. Nkuyambira abaana bo, nze ndi wano kuyamba mulembe gwo gw'ogenda okuleka omukululo. Era time weenaggwako tojja kudda mukonda. Nze siri content. Biruda. Abantu lwabeera ne business lwafubutukayo. Olwo lwajja ku group n'ababuuzaako olw'okuba ayagala mumuwagire. And many people thought I'm stupid. And they thought they were using me. Mukwano, you are exposing your ignorance. And some people are like, Esther toyiga. Ero zeyo. Mukwano, I'm doing God's work. You don't know me. And if you want to know me, follow me around. Pay attention and study in class instead of bad-mouthing me and disrespecting me in your groups and in your houses. You will see God instead of me. The season is barred. If it wasn't for the assignment, why would I even bother to tag you or send you things forward? But God doesn't want you to die when you don't know why you're dying. God wants you to prepare yourself. Gakulabira amanatu. Eri abamutinga abali ku group nno ne bagimutinga bala ne bavaako nga they cannot stand me. Nenkoland. That is the joy of moving with acquaintances. N'abalokole ate mu abalokole mwampangula. Wali abalokole ba watoto. Mwampangula. anti watoto yetwala muzine kanisa endala zonna oba mubeera polluted mweze kanisa waliyo pollution eyo naye tugenda mufuumuula kubanga pastor Gary sirowooza nti abayigiriza empisa embi bwe zityo. Abaana bagenda ku watoto muyina pollution, muyina olukwidi n'olugezigezi. Ate nga pastor Gary, happy birthday pastor Gary, 70 looks good on you. Omusajja oyo akoze omulimu. Oba yali afaanana atya we yajjira Uganda tatange n'aminterpreting. Muyina olukwidi n'olugezigezi. Pastor Tom yabiraba babikozi. Mizimu jijja kukuba gwe ng'oli mu luzungu. Katonda tawukyawulira ne we mukuba engalo mutya. Guli omulimu si gwammwe. And Watoto is a missionary. But missionaries, you don't have love for people. The love stayed only with Pastor Gary and the old pastors. Pastor Comgom Chris loves people. Yali abera kumpi ne wafe najjo na kumbi. Pastor Makala. But when I look at some of the younger pastors, and I know most of them on a personal level, now when I look at these so-called ministers in the church, abakola mu TV, anange, I'm like, really? Is this the love of people of Christ that you guys are preaching about? Is this the hurting world you're talking about? I was like, now people who don't know, when people don't know you, you treat them good. Oh, sometimes I forget. Because Watoto releases many people who go to Worship Harvest, Fanero, Zoe, Vive. Now I want to talk to pastors in these churches because you're all young. You might be 40, but when it comes to God, most of you are still crawling. You're in diapers. You need the old men and women from the Chiwempe section to help you. And most of you work with Prophet Kakande. And some of you are doing it unknowingly. A few of you connected you to that channel. You can deny it all you want. God is watching. Because you want a key from Pastor Robert. You can't get it. My dad opened for him. And he got a key for Uganda in an amazing way. It did not start yesterday. When he went to Kabo and my dad interpreted him, God started an amazing work. Because he's an evangelist, he needed a bishop sent by God, not man-made bishops. He needed a bishop ordained by God, called by God. And he met my father unknowingly, because he doesn't know us at all. Welcome to the class. There are supposed to be 5, and a bishop is an overseer. Pastor Robert is not a bishop. He's called to be an evangelist for the rest of his life. Amen. It started before he was given birth to. And he got gifts. Miracle is part of it. He did not attend class in Corinthians. Sorry. First Corinthians 12. You did not attend. Stop leaving your arm and say that you're old in the ministry, now you're a bishop. Please stop it and stop it today. Before your entire camp dies. Because whenever you start wearing a shoe that is not yours, you change God's work. You were given instructions, all of you. Mwakuba Pastor Robert kyekyo lwaki mwogerako Katonda yakyusa ekintu when he made 60. N'amwambula akagoye ke mwamwambaza n'ekibooko zammwe n'amuwa akateeteeyi akapya. Era kati bw'omwesimba ffe tugenda kusekerera kubanga ggwe n'enjuuyo n'abeewammwe mulindirire ekibooko. Yamulonda tannawasa nga tebannamuzaala. Kati naawe baba baakulonda kagobako. Sigala muleeniyo okole. Omanyi mpulira abantu batandika nga bapasita ngenda okudda nga apooso. Kiba kitegeeza tewali pastor. Man just did not recognize the apostleship you carry. Pastors, ask God about your kids nga bwe yabagamba before mwana nga temunnamuyita pastor. Ekigambo pastor kyayonooneka. Mu nnyumba weetise bisopu, weetise aposo, kyokka omuyita pastor kubanga kyekyangu. Tetuli mu ddwaliro nti buli ayambala ekiteeteeyi ekyeru aba dokita. Dokita ayambala ettaawo, naye weegendereze tulina ababbi abambala ettaawo ng'ate bakola mu lufula. Yeah. Era ettaawo ly'omu lufula lijjula omusaayi. Era dokita wayingirira mu surgery room with his garment which is white, blood is gonna spill. That's why when you go to the theater, you won't find anyone wearing white. It is either blue, brown, gray. They normally wear dark colors in there. They don't wear white. Don't confuse the ministry. I know you understand what I'm getting at. We have people called bishops simply because they've stayed in the ministry too long. Written where? Now from today when you hear anyone calling themselves bishop, ask them, when did it start? Who ordained you? Ask them. Archbishop Duncan Williams said that no one is above the law. It is Archbishop Duncan Williams. Look for him. It is not me. He's the Archbishop. The Pope Paul wrote a message. You have been circulating it around and sharing it. And he said we love one another, care about each other. The message is worldwide. Now I'm also confirming it. But I started it in 2018. For the season. COVID. Yajam 2018. Over this season. Era yannuma mu November. Thanksgiving. Nabuwanga bujulizi bennamuwa ne babutambuza obubi ne kifuuka ekikolimo. Ekkanisa neekubwa. Katonda yakyagala kubanga ekkanisa ebadde yeekweka nnyo. Nabagamba season ya kutwambula. I am sorry for God. Sorry that God used me as a weapon. I am sorry, but it is what it is. Anti-Bible yagambye mu Yeremiya, we are instruments of massive destruction. You're also one, but there are things in your life that have never changed. We find our friends in school when they don't have jobs, you connect them to someone and they get a job. There are people, there's someone who used to sell shoes in town. Then he got a job with Ministry of Energy. Then started traveling. One time I went to Amber House to see them and I found him. Then I didn't find him. Then I asked my friends about him. They were like, I laughed my head off because I know my friends. I pay attention when I'm moving with people. That's one thing my friends didn't know. I pay attention. When my friends left school, got jobs, got married, gave birth to kids, humility left. Kati ate abagendako abuloti neguja bagira. Tebamanya nti ku airport watuulayo sitaani waaki olugezigezi olw'okuba yasinga otambula amawanga. I looked and I'm like, but when you want to get married, you collect us bawanayingi b'otayagala kwogera nabo. Lwaki oba otukuŋŋaanya? Temuyina ssente. Okola otya ne gavumenti nga toyina ssente? Ayawi. Kitegeeza you need us. Ate abagagga mwe musinga ossabiriza mwantama. Be tolerant and allow for their mistakes, because no man is perfect. Follow the example of Christ, who showed sympathy and understanding toward all people. It will give you great satisfaction to know that you are supporting someone on the difficult path through their life. When someone comes with problems, you hide. Asabiriza, right? I've gone through it all. It's a training. God gave me friends. Unfortunately, right now, okuba essimu zaabwe tebazikwata. They stood with me ng'ebintu bibi. And they just knew that I didn't have work. But few of them knew that I was sick, and I've been a girl who has been taking care of my dad for 18 years. When we were at the university, my money was for taking care of my parents and other people who were in the house, paying school fees for other people's children. It was always my university money. It was $100. While others are buying clothes, boys going to the bars, buying movies, Esther was busy working for God. And your training starts at home. I wondered, and I'm like, how can you come out and you call yourself a senga to someone, a judger, and you don't take care of kids who call you mama? I did not tell you guys to get married in families. You would have stayed in your father's house if you don't want to help people. You want to be supported. Who do you support? Omuzimu oguli mu kufumbirwa tugenda gugoba kubanga nze siritegeera nze abantu abalina empisa embi abasinga bafumbo n'obwana bwabwe. Munansonyiwa naye nze sikitegeera abasumba temukiwagira. Biki bye mugamba abantu ku lunaku lwe mubagatta? N'olyoka ogamba abantu kati temukyalira nnyo bannammwe bafumbo. Mukwano, si mmwe musoose. My parents are making 39 next year, 21st January. I have seen people ewaffe. Naye nga bakadde bange tebaawukanangako. Nga tebayombangako. Nga twakula, nga twasoma. Ewammwe bityayo, muli bakodo just. Muli bakodo just. Singa mbadde mwogera ku bintu bye sirabangako gamba kale. Musumba akyuzinganya ababeera ewuwe. Bwe babaayo ewuwe babeera family members only. Ate ogenda kulira ng'agamba nti oyo mwana wa mwannyinaze yafa. Naye okusuza church member. Ndaba emirimu bagisindikira balala ayimirira ku kinaga kati tulina munnaffe wano munnange talina gy'abeera ndowooza gundi olinawo ku space. N'otuuka ewa musumba ng'ali matiribona. N'ogamba ye Musumba, what happened? Era ebirema abasumba abakadde b'ekkanisa be babikola. Bwe mba nnimbye njagala otypinga omanyi mwagala nnyo okugamba nti ayo ataakayo. Nze siina budde bwa kuba ataakinga kubanga ate n'ekirala siina budde bwa kweka bibi byammwe. Ti munnange kambi kweke musasula renti waffe mutuliisa. Abakikola mulimu gwa Mukama si gwabwe. Ate ogenda olaba bawaayo emitwalo 2, 3. ekinene nnyo 5 oba 6 tetusukkawo. Nze ngula eddagala lya kitange ndiguza obulamu bwange bwonna obw'obukulu 20 years till death. Abaali bankwatirako baakita bwe najja ebweru ne gujabagira. Omwana mugambe ekanisa negamba omwana ali weru, family neŋŋamba maama nazza musango okujja ebweru, okimanyi nti family yo toyamba abantu bonze mbayamba. Bwe mbeera ku mikolo gyammwe n'ofubutukayo mbu gwe kojja gwe anko byakoze bitya, naye ng'abaana bojjira okubeera anko kojja wadde n'ekikumi tokireetanga, kati bagenda okufumbirwa oli importanti. Omwana ne mulyoka muyombera amakanzu ne gomesi mmwe mwampangula abantu abakulu nze kambalabe bulabi bwe sijja kkula. Kyeka bw'okula oyonooneka sijja kkula. Sijja kkula. Kati mbu mbayisizaamu amaaso. Omukulu tayonoona. Nze sisomesa bakulu, nsomesa bato Bible etuyita abaana bato yagamba the kingdom of God is for those who are like children. Disclaimer, ye Bible si yenze. Ye Bible si yenze. Nze kasita nfubutukayo bwe nti ne mbuuza ebibuuzo abantu abakulu nga banyiiga. Abatanyiiga nga balina engeri gye bakijeregajerega gye bakisekeramu. Nze gye nnakulira bataata bampa omukisa okwogera. Bataata bankolera nnyo. Ne tuteesa. Bamaama abamu balowooza mbayisaamu amaaso era kati n'essimu zange tebasobola zikwata. Kwekweka gwe mulimu. Kubanga tebakirabangako. Neŋŋamba agabonaabona ne maama w'abantu. Kankubire bataata. Bamaama tebaagala bagambako bawoza obusimanyi obayisaamu amaaso. Neŋŋamba kankubire bataata tebeerondalonda. Esther Solome oli otya? Oli bulungi kati obadde ogamba ki? Bataata we batwe bakola. Bataata tebalina budde bunyiiga. Ng'anyiiganga nti taata asigala taata. Nze sisobola kutwala kifo kyo. Nze siri taata. Nze sisobola kutwala kifo kyo maama. Nedda mukaana. Wadde gye nva bampita maama. Ne bwe nfuluma siri maama. Ndi gaalozi. Gankulabira. Naye bamaama abamu banyiiga eyo banyiigira tebasobola kukwata ssimu yange ne bw'oba oyagala nnyo bula ne bablockinga lwaki empisa zaabwe embi nazikwatako ne mbakwata ewaluma. Ne nkwata ewaluma nnyabo. Kati ablockinga n'anyiiga. Eriyo ne yalekerawo waliwo omukyala w'omusumba omu yalekerawo kebera ekintu kyonna ku gurupu. Naye mulaba eyo nga yeefunuggula ku Facebook ng'atugamba sharinga ebintu bye ne mutunuulira bwe nti ne ŋŋamba. Abakyala baabaweereza tulina kirasi yammwe mama yake. Kati oli eyo onyiize. Onyiigira bwereere bw'onoonyiiga nze nga nkola n'omwami wo kintu kitono nnyo omulimu gwa Mukama. Kubanga maama empisa zo ziwa abaana ng'obayonsa. Bino ewammwe temubisomesa kubanga Mukama teyabayita mu nnamba 6 toli chifu wiipo obikkirira kibikkirira ekikkuba tokyogerako. Tumalirize mwannaatu. Follow the example of Christ who showed sympathy and understanding toward all people. It will give you great satisfaction to know that you are supporting someone on the difficult path of their. There can be no greater reward than to know that you are continuing the work of the Master. Emirimu gya Mukama mwagitwala. Kyekyo lwaki temwagala nabbagambako. Ekkanisa yo. Buuza Apostle Bunju bwe bagimugoba. Katonda mwene. Yamugoba mu kanisa namugoba ne mu nnyumba ovanga Katonda. Ate wagoba kwanga wagoba mu nnyumba agamba yinja genda nebake mu kanisa ne mu kanisa n'amugoba. Njagala Katonda mulungi ng'akutereeza. Yamugoba mu kanisa n'ennyumba n'amugoba. Kagamba Apostle Bunju n'abeera homeless. Talina kanisa n'ennyumba talina. Katonda amenya by'ataazimbye. Kyeyali amukola gwe tewakitegeera. Kati Apostle Bunju azimbiddwa Katonda. oyo omusajja oyo omumpi g'oyisaayisaamu amaaso gamba ani aya ekitiibwa kyonna kiwa Pastor Robert nkulira g'oyita muzeeyi nenkola wenti. Pastor Robert is an evangelist when we come to the army. Yes, he's older than Apostle Bunjo. He's 60 years of age. Ne Katonda talonda because of years. He's an evangelist. Apostle Bunjo is an apostle. The Apostolic Thursday. Njirinda. Yanda Apostle Chimuli. Ne Katonda alonda emikwano. Aliwo. Apostle Chimuli yatubalula. Nenokulira nga Apostle Bunjo ayogera tine neerabira nti ali kumuzirika. Pola pola. Anjunaka. Kuba. Nengamba mzee tukubete tuina magezi yongera. Tusakube omusajja tukuba. Ngagamba. Ndaposo Chimuli bamugamba. Mbere no nganyumira. Ngasikanga taina byakola. Eno season yanyumide gyenkomya okaaba. Gyenkomya okunyumirwa kati nategera lwaki Mukama yangamba abakoberere. Eddagala mmwe mulirina. Yonkolode. Yongamba mukazi ndalo. Ku Thursday yewedde. Eno week yewedde we baliko gubase mu kuja. Nagamba Chimuli. Awe. Naga kati yalaba alemeddeko. Naye nagamba tugende maaso. Singa mmanyi wennyumirwa. Genesis 50 Esther Bowen. Neera tujayongerako. But team leaders eno kirasi. Omusajja oyo nengamba bannange Katonda yandaba nagamba gende wa Bunjo yakusobola. Kona mama kona. Kona mama chidongo. Abali bagala Esther okumediza. Bamulekere keke yamusobola. Negama desaga. Bamulekere Johnny yamusobola kona. Nalisimanye kyekweriza Mukama kunyuma. Ekisa kimale. Mukama tusaasire ebyonono byaffe byonna budde nga budduse. Naye kyalinayo time. Kati saawa meka. Saawa 5 eze Uganda. Njagala malirize bifo mukaaga ogende mulakyawa. Ndi mujim toto gira nnyo. Kafeesi kalina okukoma. Nakenseke nga si kyama mama. Ekitegedde nga nawe bwekubye bufaananyi eyo bwoti. Ngendo bannange bankuya akafaananyi bannange. Buno bu passport photos. Tayagala nakalaga muntu. Nagambe yiyi nga wembeera wali mu kamera. Anti nze mba neetegese. Ni mu studio beba ntegese. Natunidde afeesi nengamba oyo science. Genesis 50. I'm gonna be very fast kubanga nyumidde nnyo. Nga nkaabye. Grand finale ya Katawana. 38 indeed. Stan yali agala nziruke. Ndyoke nfiire eyo manatu. Muninde Uganda ku airport mbu monsondera sente. Nga mmwe monzise. Choka muli bakabi. Continue. God's got tired of those things. Joseph. Muzzukulu wa Ibrahim. Muzzukulu wa Isaka. He's the 3rd generation of Abraham. Typical leaders. Then Joseph fell upon his father's face and wept over him and kissed him tenderly. Then Joseph ordered his servants and physicians to mummify his father. In Egypt, they mummify you. They don't put you in the tomb, motaka. Later, in Egypt, we mummify you. Mummify his father. So the physicians emblemed Israel, Jacob. Now 40 days were required for this, for that is the customary number of days of preparation required for embleming. And the Egyptians wept and grieved for him in public mourning as they would for royalty for 70 days. Royalty, we mourn for you for 70 days. How many years did the king of Buganda, the Kabaka Mutesa, the father to the current king, how long did he spend in the UK? Enjole ya Kabaka bachikomya after how many days? Do you know? Go find out. In the Bible, 70 days, if you are a king. They wanna them copy the nobles. Let me use that word. Kwange chigamba mukopi kivuma muko chiwuliki kabulala. Jaja banga bachala. My jaja who died at 100, the mother to the late lad Musoke, she died at 100 also. Manatu mkama feya tuwe san mikona. Jaja ya Bantala mama took me there to see her. And I would go visit her. Mama left me there, and Jaja, we were eating food with Jaja. We sat down, then we ate food. She allowed me to use her fork because she saw me struggling with my fingers. Then after Jaja did like this, the plate. Then I ate food. She was looking at me in the meantime, as I was also looking at her. Each one of us was spying the other. Then after I ate, Nengamba Fumbenyo Jaja Niansisa. Jaja looked at my plate, Nangamba. Olyango mukopi. I felt offended, and I'm like, what is Jaja saying? They used to use it in Ngafetulo was a chivumo. It is not an insult. They meant that I don't eat like royalty. And you know why she was saying that? You don't leave food on the plate. Royals don't leave food on the plate, meaning put just enough that you will finish. We don't spoil food. They train them. And why Jaja made the plate look clean? Because when you go to wash the dishes, Jaja did not explain. Now I'm explaining to you because I studied environmental engineering and other things. When you take your plate to wash it, use a paper towel to first remove the food if you have a sink. If you don't have a sink, still do the same and clean the plate so that your water that you're using, you don't have enough soap, so that your water doesn't have food particles, because there is a way they suck the soap and things will not get clean. It will come with all the oil. And if the child doesn't know how to wash plates, they're going to bring you plates that are dirty. And if you have a sink, when food particles go down the drain, they block the thing. And the sink has a V, not a T. It has a U. A pipe that is a U kind of, not a U, a J. And when food gets stuck there, water will not go. That is when you're going to call a plumber. It is because there are food particles down your drain. So to avoid that, people buy strainers, but still a strainer will not do all the work. Still small particles will go down the drain, and with time, they will heap up. And now your husband is not a plumber. You don't have money to call a plumber. You're going to have issues. Before you know it, and when you call a plumber, they charge a lot of money. There was a time Joyce Meyer said, if you can do it, why pay for it? She was talking about her nails. She used to do her nails. Because that money can go somewhere else. It's not being stingy. That money can go somewhere else. There are other things. Like right now, people are struggling. People don't have food. But I don't see you supporting anyone. After your chivalry, you just look and then you come out